Hey guys, I'm here with Adam Urbano, the senior producer on Injustice, Gods Among Us, the new fighting game out of NetherRealm Studios. Welcome, Adam. We saw, obviously, the trailer come out not long ago, and I wanted to ask you, as a huge Mortal Kombat fan myself, what can you tell us about sort of the story and the setup and the premise for Injustice?
Yeah, that's the tough thing about this E3. The thing I really want to talk about is the whole story, but it's a big reveal for later. It's going to lead a lot into the game, and even the title is based around the story, but we're talking about that later.
Okay, well, I will await that news with bated breath. Let's talk about mechanics.
Yeah.
Obviously, this game is based on the creations, the Mortal Kombat creators.
Right.
So what are you guys bringing from the Mortal Kombat DNA to Injustice?
Yeah, so we're taking what we built off of the last Mortal Kombat game, which is sort of the deep fighting mechanics, and we're adding a whole new level of interaction. So we've got these, what we call environment interactables, so that we're making the background selection just as important as the character selection. So on certain backgrounds, there's going to be like cars you can throw at players. There's going to be stuff to blow up, stuff to grab. So certain characters can do certain things in certain environments, so that selection is just as important as which character you choose.
That's an interesting approach, sort of a sandbox of destruction in the actual fighting arena. Very interesting stuff. And tell me a little bit, too, it sounds like you guys so far have broken the fighting, the actual combatants up into two basic groups. The gadgets and the power.
Correct.
To talk about how they differ from each other and what the advantages and disadvantages are.
Sure. So a great example, we'll use Batman and Grundy that we're showing at the show. Batman, the penultimate gadget character, because he's a billionaire with gadget toys. So Batman uses his gadgets to, like, he'll throw a batarang at a car. The car will explode because of these explosive batarangs. Grundy, this power character, is just going to be much more direct, grab somebody, bring you right up the car, and slam the car in your face. So each character, these power gadget types, do completely different things based off of their sort of character class.
Now, in terms of combos and juggling and things like this, is that going to be familiar to fans of 2011's Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, you're going to see that sort of similar level of depth, only the environment interactables let us bring that up even another notch. So you'll see things like basic punches and kicks being comboed into moves, then into an interactable, then out of an interactable, then further combos. So if you're a hardcore fighting fan, it's just going to be way crazier and insane.
Now, tell me about, this isn't NetherRealm's first attempt at a DC fighting game. Obviously, we had DC versus Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Sure.
But tell me about, I'm curious how you guys settle on the costumes for the DC characters. Like, how do you decide what, look Harley Quinn has in the game?
Yeah, so this is, it's going to lead a little bit into the story, but basically the costumes were created by the NetherRealm team working with DC. DC has been awesome in letting us sort of take our interpretation of all the characters and what you would expect from the Mortal Kombat team. So the costumes you're seeing are sort of what our guys would want to do to make these dark, gritty versions of these characters that we all know and love. It's our sort of interpretation of them.
Now the game, based on what we've seen from the trailer, I'd love to see some gameplay. The game definitely has a darker, grittier look.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go on a limb here and say it's probably not going to be M-rated with spine ripping, right?
No, it's T-rated, but let's hope we can get it T-rated. So we're going to push the boundary as far as we can. If you see the theater demo, there's blood. We're intentionally not showing some of the character damage yet because we want to reveal that later. But it's going to be a dark T, a very, very edgy T.
Character damage. That was something that was so great in, obviously, Mortal Kombat last year. Interested to see what you guys come up with there. Tell me a little bit about Superman in the game. I mean, that's a tough character to balance for a fighting game, right?
Right. No, Superman, that's the question that always comes up is how do you balance Superman? We cover it in the story. There's a very, very good explanation. But we basically have taken all of his key moves, things you'd expect, I-beam, lasers, cold breath, and just managed to balance them amongst the other characters. But at the end of the day, it is a game. So if we let Superman be Superman, that wouldn't be much fun. So we got to find a way to balance it.
Now, and one of the moves I saw in the trailer was Superman knocking somebody up into orbit, flying up and smashing them back down. Now, is that like a finishing move of some sort or a combo?
No, so those are what we're calling our super moves. So you use part of your super meter to do something that's very character specific and very awesome. We're showing Superman punching somebody into space. We're showing a Flash one where Flash literally runs around the Earth to build up speed for a huge hit. We're going to have all of those awesome character moments, but they aren't finishers. I mean, this is a totally different game than Mortal Kombat. It's just part of the action.
Okay, I'm hearing we're going to be checking out some of the actual game footage. I can't wait to see it.
Awesome.
While we wait for that, let's talk about what the philosophy there is on, like Batman. Like, what's your approach on Batman? What kind of Batman style are you going for here?
So we're going for, again, NetherRealm's take on Batman. Dark, gritty. You're going to see him. He's got a bunch of armor, but it's our own take. And it all ties into the story. We want it to be our version. The Mortal Kombat dark, version. So
And here we go. We're checking out some of this here. We've got a bunch of different characters. There's Superman.
Yep.
And obviously, I mean, the animation looks awesome. It looks a lot like what we saw last year in Mortal Kombat, that level of detail.
Yep.
Now, do you guys, I guess the super move would be the analog to the X-rays for Mortal Kombat.
Correct. It's an easy way to explain it. It's very similar to X-rays.
Clark Kent?
Yep. So every character has intros and victories that are very much tied to their personality. It gives us a chance to really show us what NetherRealm has done with these characters. Here's that awesome space movie we're talking about. It's just a big, powerful moment.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, it looks to me, to my trained eyes, I'm seeing 60 frames a second. Is that?
Yep, this game will be 60. The NetherRealm team will never release a not 60 game. I say that 60 is really important to us for a fighting game to keep that action smooth.
These are incredibly interactive environments here. I've never seen anything quite like this. It reminds me a little bit, you know, Mortal Kombat versus DC kind of dabbled in this, where you could knock guys off, you could fight in midair, but this is on a totally different level.
Yeah, so in this case, background interaction really does mean something. So transitions typically in MKDC were just a very, you know, take you to a pretty arena. Here, there's a palette of interactables across the stage on this. So when you transition someone somewhere else, that's because you want to use those objects in another area. It's like, again, the sandbox. Here there's a car you can use. Here there's some boom tubes you can use. It's going to be different wherever you are. Transition to different areas and use the toys that each character wants to use in their own way.
That's great stuff. Now, Mortal Kombat was embraced by the tournament fighting crowd.
Yep.
Are you expecting similar things here for Injustice?
We are. So we've got the same depth, and again, even more so. There's definitely a sense of wariness in the community of whether we can balance these interactables. Don't worry about it. We know what we're doing. We've got a whole bunch of tools and tricks. We've got testers from the fighting tournament already looking at it, helping us balance. We want that same level to be there.
Man, and I was a huge fan of Mortal Kombat. I've been following the series ever since the beginning. Just checking out some of the combos here.
Yeah.
I'm drooling thinking about getting my hands on this. When are we going to be able to get our hands on Injustice?
So 2013 is what we're announcing now. It'll probably be somewhere not that's January 1st, not December 31st, somewhere in that window.
Really narrowing it down for us there. Awesome. Well, that looks great.
Thank you.
What's your personal favorite feature? What are you most proud of in the game?
I actually am most proud of the background interactables. We could have gone safe and simple and just done a Mortal Kombat update. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to do something fundamentally different. And when you get a chance to see these background interactables in action, they're amazing. And tech-wise, they're just something we're really proud of.
Now, have you guys thought at all about your online mode or anything like that? Is that something that you guys will be focusing on?
Oh yeah, we've been working on online since day one. We're going to take the lessons we learned from Mortal Kombat. We're applying them here. Our tech team has done a great job of sort of helping us make online perfect. It's really important for us.
Great stuff. And who's your favorite character so far? You're obviously getting your hands on this internally. Who are you going with so far?
Yeah, so it's such a generic answer, but it's got to be Superman. I was a Superman fan since I was 2 years old, so I love him.
And Superman's looking really intense in this. I mean, he's like really very motivated, I'd say.
Yes, he is.
Highly motivated. All right, well, Injustice, Gods Among Us, looking fantastic here in the PlayStation booth. And next up, we're going to check out Devil May Cry, so stay tuned.